Welcome! So today, we're going to dive into a power that every single one of us has, but, it so often feels just out of reach. I'm talking about the power of our own voice. It's literally the bridge between our inner thoughts and the outside world. And learning how to use it with confidence, well, that can change everything. So let's get into how we can unlock it.
Okay, I want to start with this really crucial idea. Your voice isn't something you lost, right? It's not like you left it on the bus or misplaced it somewhere in your house. It has been with you this entire time. So this isn't about finding something that's gone. It's about unlocking something that's been waiting there all along.
Your voice is kind of like water to a fish. It's so fundamental, so always there, that you might not even notice its importance until something feels off. You know that feeling? When you hear a recording of yourself and you just cringe, or you feel it start to tremble right when you need it the most? It really is a treasure, deep inside you, always there. The real challenge, and honestly, the magic, is learning to value it.
Now, let's get real about the struggle. Because if you've ever felt that spike of anxiety around speaking, I want you to know you are so far from alone. In fact, you're pretty much in the majority. This is what our source material calls the modern confidence trap. So, does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever been in one of those high-stakes moments? All eyes are on you, and suddenly you can feel your voice just start to shake? Or maybe even worse, your mind just goes completely blank? That awful feeling when the perfect words you need seem to just vanish into thin air? What's so wild here is just how universal these situations are. Standing up in front of a crowd, feeling intimidated in a room full of experts, or your heart just pounding in your chest trying to ask a simple question. Look, this isn't some kind of personal failing. It's a deeply human reaction to pressure. To be nervous is to be normal.
And these images here illustrate the point perfectly. Now, the text you're seeing is in Lithuanian, but these are real, anonymous questions from a workshop. People asking things like, how do I stop my hands from shaking? How do I get rid of this fear? And how can I just feel confident in a meeting? These are the fears people have at every level, from students all the way up to CEOs. Everybody shares these same worries.
And this brings us to this weird modern paradox. We have more platforms than ever before to share our ideas, right? Podcasts, social media, video calls. A global stage is literally at our fingertips. But, and this is the catch, our daily habits, like slouching over our phones, hiding behind screens, typing more than we talk, all of that stuff is physically weakening the very instrument we need to perform on that stage.
But, and this is the most powerful revelation from all this, if you take just one thing away today, let it be this. Confident speaking is not some gift you're born with. It is a skill. That means it can be learned, it can be practiced, and it can be mastered. There is simply no such thing as a natural-born speaker. Let's just take a look at one of the greatest speakers in all of history, Demosthenes of ancient Greece. His journey didn't start with a standing ovation. Oh no, it started with total humiliation. In his very first attempt at public speaking, he was completely defeated, laughed off the stage because he had a terrible stammer and a really weak voice.
But he didn't give up. Not even close. As you can see here, he committed to the work. He practiced with pebbles in his mouth to fix his articulation. He would recite entire speeches while running up hills to build his lung capacity. His power as a speaker wasn't a gift. It was forged through relentless, hard, dedicated practice.
And this idea is really the heart of it all. Confidence isn't some fixed personality trait. It's the direct result of the small, consistent actions you take every single day. It's what you do that builds who you become. So, okay, the big question is, how do we actually build this skill? To make it really practical, our source gives us this powerful metaphor. So let's forget abstract ideas for a minute and think of it like growing a tree. This model here, it's actually inspired by the psychologist Abraham Maslow's famous hierarchy of needs, and it gives us a really clear path forward. Now, the labels you see on the tree are in another language, but don't worry, they represent the stages we're about to walk through. The key idea is that to grow tall and strong, you have to start from the ground up. You got to start with the roots. So here's how it all breaks down. First, you need strong roots. That's the physical stuff, understanding your voice as an instrument. Then, you need a solid trunk. That's your ability to feel safe and connected, even when you're under pressure. From there, your branches can grow. This is your self-esteem, your physical presence, and finally, you get the leaves. And that's where you can fully and freely express yourself. See how each stage builds on the last?
Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds like a lot of work, but the key here isn't some massive, time-sucking effort. It's all about creating a small, powerful, daily habit. And this gets right to the heart of the whole method. When you're building a skill like this, consistency beats intensity every single time. A 1-hour cram session once a month is way less effective than just a few minutes of focused practice every day. It's the small, repeated steps that build powerful, lasting habits.
And that's all it takes. Seriously, just 5 minutes a day. That's the commitment. 5 minutes to awaken your instrument, to ground yourself, and to get your voice ready for whatever the day is going to throw at you.
I want you to think of this 5-minute habit as the daily watering and sunlight for your tree of confidence. You are consciously, deliberately creating the right conditions. You're not trying to force the growth. You're just allowing it to happen naturally, day by day.
The truth is, you have everything you need right now, waiting inside of you. This journey doesn't start with some grand gesture. It starts with a small, consistent promise you make to yourself. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Once you unlock that confident voice, what are the important things you want the world to hear?